This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, everyone. Good morning or good evening, in whichever the time zone you're in. Yeah, please mute yourself. Right. Okay. Cool. Um, myself, my name is Arvind. I will be your instructor for HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Angular course content for the complete batch. Like for this class, I'll be your instructor. And coming to myself, like I have overall near to 8+ years of experience in IT, working in both front end as well as back end. So currently working as technical lead in one of the organization. Um, so uh, 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 that's about me. Um, so in this course, we will be concentrating on UI technologies. We'll talk about what is UI and what is this technologies and all together in a while. So let's get started. Hope you're able to see my screen. Ah, okay. So in this course span of like 45 days to 2 months, what you are planning to, like what you are going to become and what you are going to learn, and where are we spending the time and what are we learning? Okay, we will understand the big picture of what we're going to do in this next 45 or 60 days, and we will understand the concepts on a bird's eye view, means on the high level or from the top. We'll see what we are going to learn. Okay, so basically in software industry, there are multiple things or multiple technologies like that. So basically overall technologies will end up in creating either of these three. You'll end up in creating a desktop application. In any technology you learn, you'll end up in creating a desktop application or a web application or a mobile application Okay, so you end up in like any of the technologies you learn, you'll end up in doing either of these three. But there are like other things to it, other technologies also associated with it. We will also learn those technologies, but finally end goal is we'll end up in doing this desktop application, web application, or mobile application. What is a desktop application? So the thing which you see on my screen, this OneNote, is a desktop application. Okay, there is some icons which you see. This Visual Studio Code, desktop application. Postman, a desktop application. Teams, a desktop application. Okay, Adobe Reader, desktop application. All these are desktop applications. Next one is web application. So any application which you access via Google Chrome or any browser, not just Google Chrome, any browser is a web application. Like Facebook is a web application. Facebook is a web application, and like Google, web application, Twitter, web application, and all these, like whatever the URLs which you access in the browser, all these are web applications. Like Google Drive, web application. All these are web applications. Okay, so anything which you access it via browser is a web application. Next, mobile application is something which you access it via your mobile, like WhatsApp is a mobile application, and I think Facebook also have a mobile application, mobile app, and Twitter is also having a mobile app, and lot more, like lot of like Amazon, Flipkart, all this have both web applications as well as mobile applications. Okay, So we will concentrate in this course majorly on building web applications, Okay. So whatever we are going to learn in this course of 2 months, we'll end up in building web applications. Means the applications which will be accessible via browser, either via web browser in your laptop, or whether web browser in your mobile, or wherever that the application is accessible via web application is accessible via browser. So this course will end up in learning web applications, like we'll end up in building web applications, okay, which is accessible via browser. Either it could be a laptop browser, or it could be a tablet browser, or it could be a mobile browser, or it could be a TV browser, or it could be any other browser. Wherever there is a browser, whatever the application we're going to build, that is accessible via that browser. Okay. So we will concentrate majorly on web applications. Web applications will have like two parts to it. Two parts, like the applications will have two parts to it. It'll have two parts to it. So first one is front end, next one is back end. First one is front end, next one is back end. Front end is something which is visible to you on the browser. Front end is something which is visible to you on the browser. Like if I open Facebook, or if I open Amazon, or if I open Flipkart, so anything which is visible to you on the browser, that is your front end. This is your complete front end. This is your complete front end. Okay, so your complete front end. This is a front end. All these are front end. All these are front end. And there is something in the back end. There is something in the back end. So back end, like there is a server and a lot of things is there in the back end. And in the back end, there is one more thing called as DB. DB is database. DB is database. Okay. So DB is database in which the data is getting stored, like whatever the data which you enter, that is stored in DB. Okay. For building, like, so the people who work on front end are called as UI engineers or UI developers. People who work on front end are called as UI engineers. UI means user interface. Front end is also called as UI. UI means user interface. People who develop that front end related applications, or people who work on front end, they're called as UI engineers or UI developers. Or some people also called as front end engineers. Some people also call it as front end engineers, like multiple names are the same. BE is called as backend. Backend engineers or whatever. So these backend engineers will also work on database as well. Some developers, like most of the backend engineers, will also work on database. 99.9% of the people will also work on database. Whoever works on backend should also know database skills. That's how it is. That's how it has been designed. So okay, so these fellows are called as UI engineers or UI developers. These backend fellows are called as backend developers or backend engineers. Backend developers or backend engineers. Okay, people who work on both full FE front end as well as back end are called as full stack. These full stack fellows will work on both front end and back end. Apart from this front end and back end, there are other things also which full stack people will manage. There is something called as Jenkins. There is something called as Git. Like small things will also, these full stack developers will also manage. Full stack engineers will also manage that. So this full stack is having great demand in the market right now. Will have great demand in the market right now. This full stack is having like great demand in the market because they can work on both front end and back end. Next, after full stack, the demand is there for front end engineers as well as back end engineers both. First preference is full stack, and after full stack, both front end and back end are having same demand in the market right now. Whether you learn front end or back end, that will be like same path. Same demand is there in the market right now. In olden days, like whenever I started my career, like in 2011 and 2012, front end is not having that much demand in the market. Front end is like okay kind of technology at the point of time. But nowadays it is having great demand in the market, and it is simple and easy to learn, and then getting the job is also simple. So that's why most of the people from US concentrate majorly on front end, because they can simply get a job within like 2-3 months of training. They can simply get a job and they can quickly learn the things, and then so they can simply get a job. That's why like most of the people concentrate on front end. Okay, so if you want to work on front end, the technologies which you have to learn is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and HTML, CSS, JavaScript is something which is must. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is, HTML stands for hypertext markup language. CSS, cascading style sheets. JavaScript is a scripting language. These three is must. Along with these three, you have to learn Angular or React, or Vue. Any of the one is fine. Either you can learn Angular, either you can learn React, or you can learn Vue. Vue is not having that much demand in the market, so I'll just remove Vue. Most of the people like either Angular or React. Like whoever the front-end developer you talk, they will be either from Angular or from React background. Either you can learn both. If you learn both, then that is well and good. Or either Angular or React is also fine. But these three is mandatory. HTML, CSS, JavaScript is mandatory. Along with these three, the addition would be either Angular or React. If you learn both, that is like pretty good. Means your job opportunities will increase a lot. But either of this thing is fine. Angular or React, either of this thing is fine. In even like nowadays companies, even if you have background from Angular, they are hiring and they will teach you React, and then you can work on React. Like that also people are doing. There is no like limitation for just Angular or just React. But if you learn both, then your area of job search increases. Like your number of calls you're getting might increase a lot if you learn both Angular or React. Okay, that is your front-end technology. So in this batch, like in this course, we are learning these things: HTML, CSS, Angular, and React. By learning these technologies, we'll also learn React also. Like it's not or for the batch, we will learn everything like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular, and React. So if you learn all this like 5, and then you will become this UI engineers or UI developers or front-end engineers. That's the role you are concentrating on, and that's the role you need to apply for. Next, we also have backend engineers. So that fellow will be working on Java, .NET, Python. These are the fellows who work on this backend, Java, .NET, and Python. Okay. So this HTML, CSS, Angular, or React, the maximum time it will take is 2 months to complete the course. Or let's say, even in worst case, let's say it will be 3 months. Okay, let's say it will be 3 months in the worst case scenario. Hope it will not happen. There are some chats. Okay, sir. I'll wait for like I'll take the questions. Just give me like 5-10 minutes. I'll take the questions. Okay. So in backend, from backend we have Java, .NET, and Python like that. So if you want to learn backend, it will take nearly an year to complete the Java backend. So in Java, if you want to learn Java, so you have to learn core Java, you have to learn advanced Java, so which includes servlets and JSP. Then you have to learn Spring, then you have to learn Hibernate. So by completing all this course, it will take nearly 6 months to 1 year, like in a full-fledged manner. If you want to learn .NET, then you end up in learning a lot of things like C#.NET, ASP.NET, and then nowadays there is something called as .NET Core. Like that, like a lot of technologies are there, a lot of things which you need to learn if it is backend. If it is backend. Okay. So coming to DB, so DB is also having some technologies. DB, there is something like MySQL. There's something like MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle. Like there are a lot of databases, and then DBs are also divided into two types. First one is SQL and NoSQL. So this is SQL. SQL means structured query language. This is SQL, and there is also new technology coming in market right now. It is having great demand in the market right now. NoSQL. NoSQL is like MongoDB, Cassandra, etc. All these are like NoSQL databases. MongoDB, Cassandra. There's something like there are some graph databases. Like a lot of things are there for NoSQL. AWS DynamoDB, like that. All these are like NoSQL databases which are available in the market right now. DBs, SQL. All these are like SQL things. Okay. So these are the technologies. If you have learned all these technologies, then you will become full stack engineer. But right now we are working majorly on the front end HTML, CSS, and Angular, React, which will take 3 months of the course to complete. Okay. Okay. Sir, I'll take any questions. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Hey, hi Arvind, this is Pawan.
Yeah, tell me.
So, yeah, uh, for the front end, right? So, will you please cover that Bootstrap, jQuery, along with React, Redux, Saga? So, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that's fine. But if you can please also cover jQuery, Bootstrap, and also any live, I mean, for example, like on weekly basis, any like assessments, for online, like, I mean, uh, to understand the live environment, like how, because we are like brand new, right? So if you can give like any assessments on weekly basis moving forward, further, and any idea on it?
Yeah, Pavan, like, so what we will do is, like, every day after the completion of class, like, we basically give some work. I basically give some work after completion of the class. As we proceed in the course, as we proceed like further in the course, like, you will understand that every day, like after the completion of the class, I use it to give tasks, and then, like, as the complexity of the course increases, as we move ahead, like, let's say JavaScript, if you move to JavaScript, then the complexity of the course increases a lot. So in that, like, at that stage, like, the major work which I'll suggest you, or which I will give, is um, the practice of the course, whatever we have covered in the class. Practicing that and then figuring out the details and then asking the questions is the only task which I will provide. And after the completion of JavaScript, I basically put one exam. I basically take, like, whatever the questions I have, like whatever the questions which are important for me from that perspective, like, I'll cover that in this code. I'll put an exam for that for 250 marks or 300 marks, and then I'll capture the results. And then coming to your question on jQuery and Bootstrap, jQuery we will not cover as part of this course content. If you want, like, we can take 1 hour or 2 hours of uh, tutorial or kind of session, because jQuery nowadays is obsolete. Nobody is using jQuery, of course, rather than if it is like old projects are there, legacy projects are there, their jQuery is coming, their jQuery is getting used. But other than that, jQuery is, like, from my perspective, jQuery is not that much used, except the one case where the project is legacy. Then in that case, jQuery will be there. And Bootstrap we're going to cover when we are covering CSS. We're going to cover Bootstrap when we are going CSS. Okay, so this Bootstrap, jQuery, all these are like little bit more wrappers on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you learn the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then, like, those wrappers are more simpler for you. So like, if you take front end as a course content nowadays, every other day there is a new framework comes into market. Like, within 2-3 days there is a new framework comes into market, and then it is very difficult to, like, concentrate on frameworks. Rather, we concentrate majorly on the core things which makes your building blocks in the bottom, and then, like, on top of it you can build whatever you want. But as to answer your question, we'll cover Bootstrap but not jQuery.
And have another question as well. So on which versions of Angular you're going to cover in this session, like, I mean, whole course?
Angular 13 is something which we're going to cover
Till Angular 13, I mean, like,
Yep.
yeah, it covers every other versions as well, right?
Right, every other version as well. So,
and what is
basically,
the, I mean, for the React, so you're going to cover Redux middle layer like Saga, Thunk, and as well?
React is something which I don't actually teach. React will be taught by, like, React will be trained by some other faculty. So mostly I think, so we'll cover React and Redux. I'm not sure about the Saga thing. That I think you need to check with admin once.
Yeah,
So
I'll check
I'm not
with admin. The thing is, like, when coming to React, you need to cover, I mean, after Angular, I know it's bit like full heavy task for the new joiners, but the thing is, some clients, they are been focusing on, apart from React, they are been kindly, I mean, keen on asking about Redux, Saga, Thunk, middleware. So these are the things. So I would like to talk to admin after the session. So you will be covering only HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and including the Bootstrap as well, and responsive in web applications, right? Like you will explain all those responsiveness, media queries, and everything. And apart from that, you will cover Angular as well till 13
Correct.
version,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Correct.
So
Correct.
how long the course will take? Like how long? Like every day 1 hour session, including Saturdays and Sundays?
I'll come to that, Pawan. Like, I'll come to that. Yeah. Yeah. I'll
All
come
right,
to that.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that will be the end part. Okay. Huh. So one more question from the chat which I want to answer. Like, Java is a programming language. Yes, sir. Java is part of backend. So it's part of backend. The technology is part of backend, but yeah, Java is a programming language. Java is a programming language, but it is part of backend only. So the programming language which you write is basically at server side. That's why it is part of backend. We'll come to that. We'll come to that in a while. Just bear with me for some more time. You'll understand why Java is called as backend. I'll talk about that probably today, end of the day, or most probably next session, early days. Like I'll explain you why Java is called as backend. Okay. And coming to DB, like MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, and then all these are DBs, and DBs are also like two types, SQL and NoSQL, as we discussed. And then next, like apart from these, I'll just throw some light on other technologies which you might encounter in your day-to-day life. Just I'll give you an overview of the technologies which you will encounter in your day-to-day life. So the major thing which you learn, which you will hear in your day-to-day life is called as cloud, right? Cloud is something which you will hear nowadays, and cloud is having like 3 vendors in the market right now. First one is Amazon. Next one is Google. Next one is Microsoft. So these are the 3 vendors available in the market right now. So Amazon cloud is called as AWS, Amazon Web Services. Google is called as GCP. Microsoft is called as like Azure. Okay, so these are the 3 vendors in the market right now. What is actually cloud? What is the meaning of cloud? Okay, so if you want to understand the meaning of cloud, let's say you have your computer in your local, right? Let's say you are using a computer and that computer is in your local, right? This is your machine which you are using. Let's say the computer which you are going to use, let's say if you're going to use a computer which is deployed, like which is present somewhere else in the world, like let's say you're using a computer which is present somewhere else in the world, like let's say I'm sitting in India and I'm using a computer, and I'm renting a computer from somewhere else in the world, like let's say from US, from Seattle. Okay, somewhere from there I'm renting a computer. That is basically called as cloud. Using the machines or using the servers or using the infrastructure from somewhere else in the world, or renting that from somewhere else in the world is called as basically cloud. Cloud is just a buzzword for just using the machines from somewhere else in the world. That's it. Not from your local, but using it from somewhere else in the world. Okay. Amazon will give you the servers, and you can rent the servers from Amazon's data center, or you can rent it from Google's data center, rent it from Microsoft data center. What is the data center? Data center is nothing but a group of computers sitting there, connected via some wires. Okay, so you just rent it. You just rent those servers from there. How you rent it and what model you want to rent it, all this depends on your on the cost, or based on a lot of other factors which you can decide upon. But so these are the cloud things: Amazon, Google, like AWS, GCP, and Azure. These are the cloud things. So the final end goal is you're renting some infrastructure, you're renting some computers from somewhere else in the world. That's basically, if you rent it from Amazon, then it is AWS, and if you rent it from Google, that is GCP, and Microsoft, it is Azure. So that's about cloud. And you might also hear the word big data. We'll also hear the word big data. So in big data we have Hadoop. In big data we have Hadoop, like Hive, Hadoop, Hive, and then like Spark. So all these are part of big data. What is big data? Let's take an example. Let's say if you take Amazon as an example, how many orders Amazon gonna handle? Let's say in US, billions of orders, right? Like millions of orders at least. That many orders. Like let's say if it is a what is that? Amazon Prime Day or something, then we will get millions of orders. To handle that much amount of data, then like we need to have some big data processing systems like Hadoop, Hive, Spark, etc. So these are like big data processing systems, like where they will handle huge amount of data, and then they will process that huge amount of data. So people who want to become big data engineers, they will work on these things: Hadoop, Hive, Spark, etc. There are a lot of other technologies in it. In the same ecosystem, there are a lot of technologies in it. That is Hadoop, Hive, Spark. These are all big data technologies. Apart from this, like you'll also listen to the words DevOps. So DevOps is like a kind of helper for developer. Like these fellows are kind of helpers for developers. Like developers as a developers, like whatever you work on front end or you work on back end, we are called as developers. Who work on front end and back end is called as developers. And DevOps is something who will help developers. Like let's say the backend Java is there. Let's say you want a machine, you want a computer, then this fellow will come into picture and this fellow will give the computer for you. You don't create that yourself. You don't cover that yourself. You don't work on that by yourself. As a developer, this DevOps fellow will create this. This DevOps fellow need to have knowledge on a lot of things like Linux, Windows, Docker, Kubernetes. A lot of things are there for this DevOps. Lot of things are there. And then you'll also have some other roles you'll also see, that is called as DB admin. DB admin is like these fellows are there now: MySQL, SQL Server, and Oracle. As a developer, we just write the queries, but somebody has to manage the servers. Somebody has to work on this. Somebody want to administrate these machines. Those fellows are called as DB admins. Those fellows are called as DB admins. And there are a lot of other tools like ServiceNow. It's a tool. It's like a tool. So these are all tools. ServiceNow is a tool. This is a tool. Okay, ServiceNow is a tool. Like that, Pega is a tool. Like that, there are a lot of tools. Like there's something called as RPA, robotic process automation. Like these are all other technologies in the market right now. These are all comes into tool section. Like this ServiceNow, Pega, RPA. These are all comes into tool section. And then like we are all basically, once you learn front end or back end, or you will become a developer. So once you write your code, there is someone who has to test your code. That fellow is called as QA. QA means quality analyst. That fellow will do testing. Of your code. Like let's say you created a Flipkart application. What that fellow will do? That fellow will write some test cases. Okay, click on top offers, it should navigate to top offers. Click on suites, it should navigate to suites. Like that fellow need to write test cases. So there are two parts to it in QA. First one is manual. Next one is automation. So manual is like by just directly clicking on the link and then navigating to some other place. These are all like manual work. This is like a manual work. And then there is automation. Automation means whatever you write, whatever you test manually, that can be automated. That is, for automation testing, there will be tools like Selenium, like that. There is a tool which will help us in doing the automation. Okay, help us in doing the automation. This is the overall big picture of technologies available in the market right now. So, but our major concentration is on the front end part: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, Angular, and React. Okay, so at max, like that's how, like, so I'm like my time is 45 days. Until Angular, it's 45 days, 45 hours of session until Angular, and then after that React will come into picture. React will come into picture. I think probably it might take like 20 more days. I think 15 to 20 more days. So at max, that is the course completion. And course every day will be 1 hour. Every day it will be 1 hour on morning 7 to 8 batch. It's a 7 to 8 batch morning. Every day it will be 1 hour of course. I'll start sharp by 8 o'clock and then close by 9 o'clock. It might take a little bit more time, like 9:05 or 9:10 sometimes. So you have to be very careful. They are adjusting your time, like you have to make sure that the course might end up in 9:05 or 9:10, so make sure that you have some buffer after that class. And Sunday there won't be any class. It will be until Saturday India time, IST, India time, like India. I'm talking about India Saturday there is a class, India Sunday there is no class, and India Monday there will be a class. India Saturday there is no class, India Saturday there is a class, India Sunday there is no class, and on India Monday there is a class again. Okay, Sunday is a holiday. India Sunday is a holiday, not US Sunday. India Sunday is a holiday. India Sunday morning 7 to 8 is a holiday. Okay, sometimes if the course is lagging, I might take 2 to 3 hours of class on Saturdays, but that is very optional. Only if there is a lagging in course, then only I will take the course on Saturday for 2 hours or 3 hours, but that will not happen. Most of the times, like from past 2 batches, it never happened, and I hope in this batch also it will not happen. If at all it is getting delayed, then only, like if there is a push from your consultant or if there is a push from somebody else, then only we'll take the course on Saturday for 2 to 3 hours. Otherwise there is no class on 2 to 3 hours. And then for Angular and for HTML there is material available. I'll give you the material, but for CSS and JavaScript I will give you the links of online, and you need to read from those links. Those links are the material for you for CSS and JavaScript. Okay, those links are the material for you. And then I'll tell you one point. The major problem which I see nowadays is at the beginning of the course, a lot of people are very well interested, very well, like a lot of people join like anything. Like I'll start a batch with like 25-30 people sometimes, but when it comes to end, I'll see only like 5 to 6 people available. At the initial stages there will be a lot of like I will have to learn, like that there are a lot of thinking in your brain, so you will think that you will be very much interested in completing the course. But as we move ahead in the course, there are a lot of people who will drop off. Let's say if a class is a little bit tough today, let's say in JavaScript there are some sessions which will be little bit tough, so a lot of people drops off in the initial days only. Like in JavaScript, a lot of people drops whenever there is a little, it's not very tough, it's a little bit tough, there people drops off, and then like the graph decreases a lot. Like that's what I've seen in the past batches. And then what people will think is, like from my feedback or from my analysis from past like 4 or 5 years of online training, what people will think is, okay, today we will put absent to the class and we will listen to video recording. We'll listen to the video recording or class recording. But if you put absent to the class, that video recording and class recording, you will not be able to listen. I'm guaranteeing that. So 90% you will not be able to listen. There is only 10% chance that you'll be able to listen. Okay, so that's the trend I am seeing. Though you might think that you will listen to the video after that, but you will not do that. You will never do it. So that's my analysis, or that's my feedback. That's my thing from past like 4 or 5 years of online training thing. So please attend the class. After completing of the class, figure out the details of what we have learned, sink that concepts into your brain, and then come back to the class tomorrow and then ask any questions if you have, and then proceed with the course. Don't put any options to the class. Don't miss the class. Don't think that you know this concept and then I don't need to listen to the class. Don't think like that. Okay, though even if you know the concept, like sometimes there are some points which you will not know, and then you will miss those points if you are not listening to the class. Coming to the class daily is the best thing you can achieve. Completing of the course is the best thing which you can achieve. Like just listening, completing the course, end of the day, like let's say if it is like 45 days, attending the class for 45 days every day without fail is the best thing you can do. Okay, teaching of the class doesn't need any kind of consistent or kind of dependent things. Teaching is like simple, because I've teaching this from past 4 or 5 years, and like even if I don't concentrate, automatically the theories come from my mouth. Same thing I'm teaching. But listening to the class, sitting in the class, listening to the class, not getting distracted by things around you is a major thing. Okay, sometimes let's say if you're married, your kid makes noise. Okay, let's say if you're not married, your friends will call for a drink. Okay, your friends will say, okay, today's just miss only one class, we'll come back to the class tomorrow. like that people will say. Okay, the only thing is you should not miss the class, you should just attend the class daily. Consistency is the major thing in succeeding in anything, not just uh, uh, Angular or React, anything. Consistency is the major thing. Okay, so that's the major thing which you need to achieve. Okay, okay, fine. That's enough. So that's about the course content. That's what we're going to see every day. 1 hour of class from morning 7 to 8, and then on Sunday it will be a holiday. Sir, SQL I'll not cover as part of this course. As part of this course, SQL is not there. If you are, if like let's say there are like 5-10 people who are interested in learning SQL, I can teach SQL. I'm kind of like, I know SQL, I worked on SQL from past 8 years. I can teach you SQL, but it's a separate batch altogether. Not in this batch. We are not covering SQL as part of this. But if you want, I can take one like demo session kind of thing if you're interested, for people, like not for money and not something like that. Like I'll take it for free. If like let's say I need at least like 5 to 10 people. If you have 5 to 10 people, then I will take SQL session for like 1 hour or 2 hours for free. That's not an issue. But if you want a full-fledged course, then we need to talk to admin, and then we can create a course content for you if you want full-fledged course. But if there are like 5 to 10 people who are interested in learning SQL, of course I can teach for like 2 hours of class for free. Then no cost associated to it. Okay. We will teach real-time scenarios also. Like always, like most of the times we will go by real time. All the examples whichever I teach is real-time examples only. But initial days itself, I cannot teach you real time. Like if I start with real time, then you will not attend tomorrow's session. Okay. So what we do is we'll slowly increase the complexity. As we move ahead, we will slowly increase the complexity, and we'll slowly move towards real time. Initial days itself, I'll not teach real time. You may ask, Arvind, HTML and CSS in real time? It is not required. For HTML and CSS, real time is not required. Real time works start from JavaScript as well as in Angular. Okay, we'll slowly build up the course content. We'll slowly build up as we reach JavaScript and as we reach Angular. We will see how many people are there based on that. Like of course I'll cover real-time examples only. Like all the examples whichever I take are from real time, are from a past experience, or from a past problems which I've solved in the course content. Okay. Could you please share the course content? Sir, please talk to admin. Admin will provide you the course content. You can just go through the course content. Admin will give you the course content. Okay. Actually currently I don't have it. Like I just have the course content till Angular only. That's why I just don't want to share that with you. Just talk with admin and she will provide you the course content. Okay, any other questions? I'll move to the next topic for today's class. Any other questions for you? Okay, one more suggestion for you, sir. One more suggestion for you. Please don't join from mobile. Please don't join from mobile. Please always join from laptop. Join from laptop. If you don't have laptop, ask your friend or rent a laptop, or do something or the other. But just join from laptop. Laptop means I'm not saying just the laptop, or if you have a computer in your, if you have a machine in your house, anything. But not from mobile, because I'll be explaining the examples over here in the class, and you have to execute the same programs as on when I'm teaching in the class. You have to execute the same programs in the class and then get the output. Okay, so if you are joining from laptop, that will be beneficial for you. That will be helpful for you, but always join from laptop. For first 1-2 sessions, if that's okay from mobile, but always make sure that you join from laptop. Okay, otherwise it will be difficult for you to follow the course content. People who are joining from laptop or people who are joining from mobile, you can see the difference. In the exam marks also, you can see the difference. People who are joining from mobile and who are joining from laptop. Okay. What was the career opportunity for the freshers by learning this course? Sir, that's the next topic which I'm going to cover about the career opportunities. That's the next topic which I'm going to cover. We'll talk about it. Okay. Just wait for like 1-2 minutes. Okay. So by learning this course of like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Angular, Okay, here when I'm a mechanical student, is this course is tough or I can learn? Okay, we'll come to that also. So let us learn the HTML. Let us see HTML, CSS, Angular, and React. Let's say so the front end. Let's say you have become a front end engineer. You have take a front end. You'll become a front end engineer. Okay. So once you become a front end engineer, then the jobs you're going to apply is for UI developer. Then the jobs you're going to apply is for UI developer. You'll become a UI developer, and the jobs you're going to apply is for UI developer. Okay. So currently in the market, let's say you put a resume. Like I'm talking about India market, not in US market. US market, I'm not 100% sure, but let's talk about India market. So if you talk about India market, just learn front end and put that in your resume. Put that in your resume and then put it in Naukri. Okay, Naukri is a site for job searching. Just put that in Naukri. Then you see how many calls you're gonna get. At least per week, you will get at least like 3 to 5 interviews will be scheduled per week. If you're putting front end developer, UI developer. Okay, by coming like by Angular and React, it changed the complete the concept of front end developers. Like let's say in 2013 or 2014 or 2011, if you say front end engineer means there is not much demand, there are not much jobs. But if you have like nowadays in 2021, 2022, now it is having great demand in the market right now. Even with this lockdown thing, a lot of web applications are getting developed faster, and then this UI developer is having lot more demand because everything is remote right nowadays. So because of that remote thing, a lot of web apps are getting developed, and then there is a lot of demand in the market right now for these front end engineers. A lot of calls people are getting, even if it is freshers, then they are also getting a lot of calls. Lot of calls. People are getting a lot of calls. So nowadays, so it is very beneficial. Even if you are a fresher, if you learn, you'll get good amount of good calls. But for freshers, not just this course is this course will solve your problem, but you should also learn other things like aptitude and reasoning, and then you should also learn aptitude and reasoning, and then some English skills. Those two also you have to side it with along with this front end the front end course. But for experienced people who are keeping like 3 to 4 years of fake experience, for them this course is more than enough, because you will not get any aptitude questions or you will not get any things. If you're keeping like 7-8 years of experience fake, like not in US, I'm talking about in India. In US, like 7-8 years of fake is like in India like 1-2 years of fake. That's not a big difference. In India, like if you're keeping like 7-8 years of fake, then this course may not be sufficient for you. You need to work a little bit more harder. But if you're keeping until 3 to 4 years of fake experience, then this course is enough for you to get the job. Okay, so in the last class, if you look into my last class, there are people who have joined from 9th standard and 10th standard. There are 2 people who are my cousins, and they are from 9th standard and 10th standard. They have joined this course, so they are able to complete until JavaScript part. So for learning this course, no background is required. If you don't know anything else, that's okay. Like Arvind, I'm from Mech, or I'm from civil, or I'm from biotechnology background, or I am from just a degree background. I've just completed intermediate. That's okay. If you pass your 10th standard, that is just the basics for this course. If you pass your 10th standard, that's okay. You'll complete this course. You should know a little bit English, and then little bit of like basics about computer, like how to create a file, how do you open a file, how do you watch YouTube videos. That basics is required for this course. Apart from that, nothing else is required. It is very simple. The course is very simple, sir. But when it comes to JavaScript and Angular, it becomes a little bit tough, not just 100% tough. But for that, the only solution for that is practice. Sir, not just about any course, sir. Everything is tough. Anything if you're going to learn, that will be tough. Let's say you're going to learn car driving. That will be tough in initial days, right? Once you learn, it will become easy. Bike driving, initial days it will be tough. Once you learn, it will become easy. Okay. Without passing that hard thing, you will not be able to complete the course. Not just this course, or any course if you take. If you're from Meg background, you take some mechanical courses like CAD CAM. There also you will have that tough time. There will be a peak in which there is a tough time, and then it falls back after some time. So you need to stay back in that. You need to stay in the course for that time. It is not like it's not like very tough that you'll not be able to understand. I'll not say that. You'll be able to understand. You'll be able to do. But the only thing is, only star mark for that is attending the class regularly, practicing the examples which I teach you regularly in the class. That is the only thing which you have to know. If you know that, then that is very simple for you. But practicing, attending the class regularly, asking the questions, not watching WhatsApp while class is happening, not replying to your friends in WhatsApp while class is happening, not chatting in Facebook, not opening Facebook, not browsing Facebook, not opening Instagram, not uploading videos, not watching YouTube shorts while class is going on, not looking at somebody somewhere else while course is going on. You have to eradicate all these things, then the course will be easy for you and the course will be simpler for you. But if you are watching YouTube, if you are watching Facebook, if you are watching something else, and if you are chatting somewhere else, and if you are talking to your friend while course is going on, or if you are taking care of your kids while course is going on, all these things if you are doing, then course will be tough for you, sir. I'm saying for sure, course will be tough for you. You need to concentrate more on the course. You'll concentrate more on the course. Make sure you concentrate more on the course and then get most out of it. Don't procrastinate. I'll cover this tomorrow. I will do this tomorrow. I'll do this after this class. I'll do it after 1 hour. I'll do it after 2 hours. That is called as procrastination. That's the most of the students will stuck there. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it after 1 hour. We'll do it after 2 hours. That's where like most of the people is stuck from my analysis. But you should not do it. Do it now. Do it today. Do it now. Okay. There is one meaning also in like this English, like do it now. If you do it now, then that is, if you are going to do it tomorrow, then do it today. If you're going to do it in the evening, then do it now. You have to do it currently, at that point, currently do it, and then leave from the class. That's how. After the end of the course, can we expect personal guidance or help while facing interviews? So from this course content, I'll not be able to like do any interview support from this course content, but I'll give you the guidance on how to face interviews and how to answer the questions as part of the course content. I'll while I'm teaching a concept, I'll explain you the interview questions and I'll explain you what answers you need to give if that question is asked in the interview. That's what I'll do. But that guidance I'll give you, but not for personal guidance. Personal guidance is not there as part of this course. It is just overall guidance. For the complete batch, I'll give you the guidance, but not personal guidance. Okay. Okay, so next thing which I want to cover, sir, I'll just cover it in 2 to 3 minutes and then we'll see. If you join in any project, you will have these roles. You'll have a developer. We'll have a developer who will develop. This developer will be for front end, or there will be developer. If you join any project, these are the roles you can expect in the project: developer, backend, okay, and then QA, and then QA. And then there will be PM. PM is called as product manager. PM is called as product manager. This fellow is the one who will give you the requirements of what needs to be done. This fellow is called as product manager. This is a complete role altogether. This is called as product manager, and this fellow will give you the guidance of what needs to be done. This fellow will create something called as user stories. Which developer, front end and backend needs to work on. That is PM, and there will be a manager who will approve your leaves. That fellow don't do anything, just approve the leaves, sitting there and approve the leaves, and not doing anything. If you become old, then you will not do anything, then you will become manager. Okay, manager doesn't need to do anything, just attending the calls and then saying what needs to be done. That fellow is manager. Okay, and you'll also see other roles like business analyst. That fellow will work with the business people, and then that fellow will talk to product manager, and then product manager will talk to developers and front end and back end. Okay, that fellow is business analyst. These are the kind of roles which you see, and then so you will see some things like production release. You hear some words like production release. Something you'll hear means basically once you develop a feature, let's say front end or back end, once you develop a feature, that feature will be moved from this development environment. That feature will be initially in development environment. From there it will be moved to QA. And from QA it will be moved to UAT. UAT means user acceptance testing. QA means quality testing, quality analysis, like where we analyze the quality of the feature which you develop. and then from there it moves to UAT, and from there it moves to production. So your friend sometimes might be saying, Arvind, I have a production release. That means actually the code which that fellow has written is moved to production. Production means the real place where the code gonna execute, the real place where it will walk. Means the real place where users gonna use that code. So this is basically called as production release. The code which you develop, the code will be moved to QA, and from there it moves to UAT, and from there it moves to production. Okay, this is the flow actually. Developers will be there, backend and front end. Backend developers will develop backend, and front end developers will develop front end, and QA will do the QA of the complete feature. And then there will be UAT. UAT stands for user acceptance testing. From there, the code will be moved to production. Okay, that's the complete flow. This is called as development life cycle. It's called as development life cycle. Okay, that's about it. Okay. Hi, any other questions you have? You can ask right now. Any other questions if you have, you can ask right now. Any other questions? So no questions. Okay. Be ready. Roll up your sleeves, and then be ready for fighting with a technology which you are going to do from 3rd May, Tuesday AST. We'll start the fighting with the technology. Initial days it will be very simple, but as we move ahead, the complexity will increase a little bit more. But you need to be very careful. You need to attend the class, and then, of course, like a lot of you might be might be planning to get a job and then like take care of your family. But so for that, you need a lot of consistency. You need a lot of brain work. Lot of things you need in your hand to complete the course. So please attend the course. Please take running notes. Please take running notes. Please attend the course. Please take running notes. Please execute the feature. Please ask questions. Please talk more in the class, and then job will be yours. Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Bye. If you have any questions, you can stay back. Otherwise, you can leave for the day, sir. Thank you. By the way, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, I'll give you my LinkedIn profile. So if you want to follow me something, or if you want to ask any questions personally, not out of the thing. If you want to ask any questions personally, then you can ask me over LinkedIn. I'll also give you my email ID, or you can use LinkedIn. Any of the things is fine. So goals and all, you can use email. Goals and all, like if you are having some problem and all, like you can use email. But boys, like you can just use LinkedIn, and then you can ask any questions if you have. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Have a great day.